After the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, it's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore the elephant in the room. Lewis Hamilton's race engineer, Riccardo Adami, simply isn't cutting it. The communication, or more accurately, the consistent lack of clarity between the two, is fast becoming a liability. While the doubts first began surfacing after the opening round in Melbourne, it's now round 8 of the championship, and not only has the situation not improved, it's arguably deteriorated further. At this point, it's time to confront the reality. Hamilton needs a new race engineer. The discussion around Adami first erupted during Hamilton's Ferrari debut at the Australian Grand Prix, with the awkward exchange regarding the K1 energy deployment. Adami informed Hamilton that the K1 mode was available, to which Hamilton curtly replied that he already knew, and requested that Adami let him focus. Adami then repeated it again.
Mode charge button on.
Yeah, no problem. Just don't repeat everything, please.
Understood. Can use K1 when you close.
Into it, please.
K1 available.
Yes, I know. Leave me to it, please.
To avoid the denied DRS, we suggest upshift and then DRS.
Please leave it. Yes, please leave it.
I'm P10. And good work out there. You can charge button on, please. But with timing there, but good work.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but at least we didn't come out completely empty-handed. Keep pushing.
It was a short interaction, but it told a much larger story about their lack of synergy. But while some began calling for Adami's replacement, immediately after that race, such an early reaction could have been seen as knee-jerk. First-race teething issues are natural, especially considering it was the first time the two had worked together in a live race environment. You expect some awkwardness. You expect a learning curve. But what you also expect is progress, and that simply hasn't happened. Instead, we've seen a consistent pattern of miscommunication and radio mismanagement that continues to cost Hamilton track position and, in some cases, his patience. The Miami Grand Prix further reinforced this issue with another messy radio exchange that came across as incompetent.
I'm just burning up my tires behind him.
Understood.
You want me to just sit here, salt the whole race?
I'll come back to you. Want to keep the DRS to Charles and go ahead like this. It's behind 1.5.
You guys, this is not good teamwork, that's all I'm going to say. In China, I got out of the way when you're on a different strategy.
Understood. We swap the cars.
Have a tea break while you're at it. Come on.
And now, after Monaco, the situation has reached a new low. During qualifying in Monte Carlo, Adami's radio guidance, or lack thereof, directly led to Hamilton impeding Verstappen. The result? A 3-place grid penalty, dropping Lewis from P4 to P7.
Verstappen pushing behind 3 seconds. Sorry, slowing down behind.
He said he was slowing down. It's sick, man.
Whoa! Wait! Lewis!
Okay, recharge on, Max. Recharge on. We can go next lap. Recharge on.
Nice and feeding up.
This wasn't just a minor blunder. It was a damning indictment of Adami's competence under pressure. The incident could have easily been avoided had Adami not contradicted himself within seconds over team radio, sending mixed signals at a crucial moment. It was especially frustrating because Hamilton's P4 qualifying position was a solid result given his recent struggles around Monaco in this ground effect era. But that effort was rendered meaningless by an entirely preventable penalty. And let's not forget, Monaco is the most difficult track on the calendar to overtake on. So this one radio mistake effectively ruined Hamilton's race, albeit he was able to gain 2 positions to finish 5th.
It seems that the car is more in your hands now, and especially here. But then you had a problem on communication with Ferrari, right? And it seems that there is a problem that repeats all the time with Ferrari, the communication problem. All the time there is something that it's not really direct, from outside at least.
No, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think people have jumped on a couple of conversations that we've had in the past, but I don't think it's no different to a normal conversation. Okay, yeah, I think it's generally been getting better and better as Riccardo and I have been working together. He's been doing a great job. I think particularly last race, I think was great. there's been good races and races where we afterwards we reflect and say, okay, maybe if we did it here or if we said this. But this weekend it was different. It's like I think he was doing such a great job through the session. I think something Max popped up on the screen and it said that he was on a lap, and then it disappeared. And so he said actually he's not on the lap. So then he told me he's not on the lap. So I pulled over to the side. I was completely the other way, and then he said actually he's not on the lap. So then I started to accelerate, and all of a sudden he appeared. So I don't know if that's an issue with the system more than it is an issue with the communication from the team. I think he was right to say that because of the information he got. But anyways, otherwise we was pushing, enjoyed the session, and driving around here. It's been amazing in the Ferrari.
Then came the race, and the problems continued. Radio contact between Hamilton and Adami was once again disjointed. What's becoming apparent is that Adami not only struggles with the timing of his responses, but also with how he responds. He either avoids answering the question entirely or delivers a convoluted response that contains far too much irrelevant information. It creates confusion and robs the driver of the clarity he needs when making split-second decisions. One of the most glaring examples of this came during the race when Hamilton asked a straightforward question about time gaps. Adami's response went on a tangent and seemed to confuse Hamilton saying minute with medium.
Are they still nearly a minute ahead?
Medium and McLaren's on hard, lapping 16, very close to each other fighting.
You're not answering the question. It doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm just asking, am I a minute behind or?
In isolation, maybe you could write that off as a simple misunderstanding. But in the broader context of how this relationship has unfolded over 8 races, it was just another example of how poorly synced the pair are. In F1, where every tenth matters and strategy is decided in real time, this level of miscommunication simply isn't acceptable. Then came what felt like the final straw. On the cool-down lap after the race, Hamilton asked if Adami was annoyed with him because he had received zero communication from his engineer after the checkered flag. No feedback, no congratulations, no wrap-up. Nothing. Just silence.
Yeah, big thank you to the boys. As I said, fixing the car. It's not been the easiest of weekends, but we live to fight another day, so yeah. Thank you. Are you upset with me or something?
Some have tried to excuse this by pointing out that Hamilton's question came just as he entered the tunnel, where radio reception can be patchy. But Hamilton had already experienced radio silence prior to that, and his question was clearly prompted by an extended period of being ignored, not just a few seconds of static. Whether it was intentional or not, the lack of response was unprofessional and indicative of a broken working relationship. If Adami was actively ignoring his driver, then that alone is unprofessional, and if it wasn't intentional, it still signals a lack of cohesion and awareness. After the race, Hamilton made further comments in his interview that reinforced his discontent with how things were managed.
We heard them say to you over team radio, push now, this is our race. So you were obviously holding back until that point, but then they didn't seem to come to you.
It wasn't very clear. The information wasn't exactly that clear. I didn't really understand this is our race.
We didn't either.
I don't know what I didn't know what I was fighting for. Am I fighting for the next spot ahead, or? But in actual fact, when I look at the data, I wasn't anywhere near any of the guys up front. So I used up my tyres a lot in that respect, in that moment. But I was so far away from them anyway. So.
All that aside, P7 to P5, that is an improvement.
At least we went forward.
Exactly. Thank you.
At the same time, Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur also weighed in on the incident, attempting to explain it away. He stated, "When the driver is asking something between turn 1 and turn 3, we have to wait to reply to avoid to speak during the corners. It's not that we are sleeping, it's not that we are having a beer on the pit wall. It's just because we have a section of the track where we agreed before to speak with the drivers." When I spoke to him after the race, he was not upset. While Vasseur's explanation might sound reasonable on the surface, it doesn't address the larger issue, that this isn't an isolated occurrence. This is a pattern of poor communication and trying to defend Adami's actions with a blanket statement about agreed radio zones doesn't change the fact that miscommunication has happened in and out of those zones all season long. The core issue with Adami isn't just the occasional language barrier, although that certainly doesn't help. The problem lies more in the lack of rhythm and mutual understanding. Adami might speak fluent English, but there's a clear disconnect when it comes to the articulation and delivery of information. There's a reason Hamilton clicked so well with Peter Bonington. The two developed a rapport built on concise, efficient, and calm communication under pressure. Now, to be clear, bringing Bono over to Ferrari isn't realistic. He's locked in at Mercedes, serving as Kimi Antonelli's race engineer, and recently signed a contract extension that reportedly includes an elevated technical role within the team. That door is shut, but Hamilton doesn't need Bono specifically. What he needs is someone competent, calm, and concise, someone who can give clear instructions, answer questions quickly and directly, and support him in the moments that matter. It's not about the race engineer being famous, it's about them being effective, and at the moment, Riccardo Adami simply isn't. The sooner Ferrari and Hamilton acknowledge that, the better chance they'll have of salvaging what's left of this season and building something stronger for 2026.